It's the Daily Dog.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Doug. I am thankful that you are hanging out with us today on a Monday. You made it to the beginning of yet another week, and y'all, I really am thankful that you are here because I think we have a good week in store for you. Lots of great music to get to. So, over the weekend, I was doing a little hangout, a little live stream with some of our patrons over on Patreon. We had a great conversation, and towards the end of that conversation, we got into talking about the upcoming selections or selection process for the channel, and it was a really interesting conversation. We kicked around a lot of different bands, different songs, who should go in first, who should have to wait a little bit, what versions of certain songs are better to do for the channel than others. And in the course of that conversation, I was asked, hey, haven't you done any music by Mastodon on the channel before? And my response was, are there extinct animals that are recording metal music in the 21st century? And they're like, no, Mastodon, the band. I'm like, I don't know of this band. So they were telling me about this band, and I thought, well, if we can do a Maiden Monday and a Metallica Monday, then we sure can do a Mastodon Monday. And that is what we are doing today. It is a Mastodon Monday. It is this band's first time on the channel. The song from them that we are going to be doing today is called Oblivion. It is from their album released in 2009 called Crack the Sky. So I went back and I just double checked the definition of oblivion. And this is what it means. It is the state of being unaware or unconscious of what is happening, or it is the state of something that is no longer remembered or used or thought about. When we think of something falling into oblivion, it is falling into a state of disuse. It is no longer applicable. And as a result, it loses our conscious thoughts that keep coming back to it, right? It is something that becomes passé, that we don't really think about much anymore. And so it falls into oblivion. So that's the point of view I think that they're going for with the name of the track. The performers for us today, the musicians, are Bran Daler, who is on the drums and has lead vocals on this track, Troy Sanders on bass and vocals, Brent Hines on guitar and vocals, and Bill Kelleher on the guitar. So like I said, y'all, this is a band that I really don't have any background in listening to, so I've never listened to any of this band's music, so going out on a limb a little bit, but I trust my patrons and I trust y'all, and if they say Mastodon is worthy for us to look at, then I believe that they are correct. And I have looked at the lyrics to this, and I've read in a little bit, and I think it's going to be a really powerful and poignant piece. So let's get into it, shall we? This is Mastodon and their song Oblivion. Here we go. Woo. Da-dum, da-dum, half step, right? And the lower note, da-dum, is a C. That would either mean we're like in a Phrygian mode for C minor, or it's lay sol and we're gonna move to F. Normally, that's what happens when I hear that half step. But I think they're going to be sticking in C. Tempo and meter change from the intro. This is a slow 6. Huh. I need to stop it for a second. He kind kind of sounds like Ozzy Osbourne a little bit, doesn't he? This reminds me of hearing some of Ozzy's vocals. Really interesting. Off we go. How can I tell you I failed? Moves away from the slow 6 to just common time. Now I'm lost in oblivion. I tried to bore a hole into the ground, breaking all the fingers and nails from my hand. The eyes of the child see no wrong. Back into that 6. How can I tell you I failed? It's like C down to G. They're still on that C, but they're bringing in that diminished fifth, the G flat into that. It's causing that sound to become a little more dark, sinister. Woo. And then the natural fifth comes in over the top of it for the start of this guitar solo. Woo. They like those half steps. They went up a step from where they had been. Because if they were in D, they went back to C. Yeah, that's back in the same key they were in. Falling from grace because I've been away too long, leaving you behind with my lonesome song. Now I'm lost in oblivion. Cool song. Powerful, straight ahead. They had that little modulation in the middle, but they got back to where they started. And I think that's how it's going to end. Powerful. Cool. That was interesting. Really interesting. First time for Mastodon on the channel. A couple of things. As I was looking into the lyrics and doing my read-in this morning, I was trying to figure out what their point of view was. And this first lyric, the one that starts the song, I flew beyond the sun before it was time, burning all the gold that held me inside my shell, waiting for you to pull me back in. I flew beyond the sun. Is that a reference? At first I was thinking, oh, are they referencing like Icarus, this story from Greek mythology where Icarus flies too close to the sun, trying to, escape the bad situation, and his wings melt and he falls, right? And I wonder if they were looking at that. But then I found this story, this backstory about Bran Daler, the drummer, and I believe the lyricist for this particular song, and who also provided the lead vocals for this song. It looks as though this is a song that's really about grief, and grief that this particular person is holding on to from an event that happened many, many years previously as a child. Bran's sister, her name was Skye, Skye. And when they name this album Crack the Sky, they spell Sky with an E at the end. And it's Bran's younger sister's name. And sadly, she died of an overdose on pills that she got from her mother's dresser when they were both kids, relatively close in age. And they were apparently quite close, bonding with each other to support each other in an unstable environment, with a mother who had an issue with drugs and a stepfather who was abusive and controlling. And it's like, holy crap, this guy, many years on, is worried about the memory of his sister falling into oblivion, right? Or him falling into oblivion because of all of the overwhelming grief that apparently is still there, right? It takes a long time to get over traumatic things, maybe never, right? To fully get over it. But this little spot here, the eyes of the child see no wrong. When he says, I tried to bore a hole into the ground, breaking all the fingers and nails from my hand. I think that he was so guilt-ridden and distraught over the death of his sister that at one point he actually tried to dig her grave up to get one last look at her. It's so immensely sad. And it would make sense then that this would be, I think, the first Mastodon song that Bran sings lead on. Right? It's a very personal song for him. So when you're talking about falling from grace because you've been away too long, and leaving you behind with my lonesome song, now I'm lost in oblivion, it's a chance for this particular person to finally, after years of dealing with grief, largely unspoken, putting words to it. And I hope that it has been cathartic for him and for other people who have caught on to this meaning in this story. It almost reminds me of one of the old quotes from Fred Rogers, from Mr. Rogers, right? When we're dealing with really difficult stuff, one of the things he used to say was, what is mentionable is manageable. If we can put what is like beyond ourselves into language somehow, then we can come to define it a little bit more tangibly, and it becomes manageable because we can talk about it and get some help and some just a way to express what is going on. So a really deep and powerful song for us on Monday, Mastodon bringing it. It's a really tragic backstory, but a really powerful and I think important song for the members of the band, Bran specifically, and for the fans that have heard this song for quite a number of years. Wonderful way for us, and an important way, I think, for us to start out the week. And I am thankful to my patrons over there on Patreon for telling me that this band exists and encouraging me to put them on the channel, and happy that I did so. Mastodon, Oblivion, from their 2009 album, Crack the Sky. We have a lot more coming up for you this week, everybody. I hope that you will continue to tune in. I will see you then next time on another edition of The Daily Doug.